We talk hip-hop with a serpent tongue, no holds barred reviews and interviews, but it's all in fun. Chopping it up with some of your favorites and some you never heard of. To the Maximus, banter laced with candor in our practices. Respect to the newbies and the greats, hot takes baked into this layer cake for the sake of the listener. Putting you on to the freshness, remember where you heard it, guilty or innocent, what's the verdict?
What's going on, everybody? This is Corban, the Serpent tongue Skipwith.
And Brutus Maximus from Rawside Hip Hop.
And you're listening or watching The Verdict. We have a very special guest today. If you want to introduce yourselves.
Peace and blessings. We are the Microphone Misfitz. My name is D-Nick, the Microphone Misfit. To my left, partner in rhyme, symbol of elevation, the ray of light. And always backing us up is our man on the ones and twos, Soul Select on the Soul Controller, Money Folder. Recognize he is a soldier, Mel L.
What up? Love it, love it. How are you boys going today?
Man, we blessed, man. We was in a writing session. It was like, oh man, let's jump into this and then real quick.
Well, sorry about the timing, but
it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Now we're super excited to have you on here, and particularly to talk about the Escape from Babylon series, and especially Part 5. That's the one I want to focus on today.
Okay.
Cool. So I want to start by saying, where did so talk us through the series, the Escape from Babylon series. How did that start? Yeah.
Oh man. Well, my last solo record was called Graphic Novel, and it doesn't feel like a solo record. Like these brothers like help with, like everybody was a part of it. Like all of that is kind of like industry myth, like bullshit. It's like it take like 7 people to make one LL Cool J. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't like that, like, because these brothers was like a part of it. Helping Mel was in every freaking studio session and A&R and associate producing vocals, and Ray joined like the crew officially like at the end of the production of that. And so in the promotion of the like Escape from Graphic Novel, like all those songs was performed with what you see here. Like, I listen to it and be like, dang, Ray ain't on this. Like, I'm used to his act live. And so we were promoting that, and it was really well received. It was a really good critical joint for us. And now it's time for the group. And I was nervous about like the group, like I didn't want us to be in the shadow of that, like as a collective, and have to be fighting against ourselves, you know what I'm saying? So wanted to do something special to set it apart. And the last joint was called Graphic Novel. So we were promoting it with like Wizard World Comic Convention, and I'm a comic book head, and Mel's an artist, and he, so all of that really kind of coincide during the promotion run and touring with Graphic Novel. And so it was like, okay, for the Microphone Misfitz proper, we're gonna cultivate our first official group record with something special that's different from everybody else. And we did a comic book, and that thing was successful. So we had to keep on doing comic books, but don't regret it. Like me and Mel got a background in theater, so it was dope. And I love writing, is not just songs but scripts and stuff, and so it was a way to utilize that and keep it working.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really cool. I just want to take it back a step, just for people that may not be familiar with Microphone Misfitz. So obviously, if you can just give us, you're based in Chicago. Talk us through how you got together and some of your influences. There's a whole lot of creativity in all your music. There's a whole positive energy. Talk us through how you came to be and some of the influences that have helped with your style.
Okay. Yeah, most of us, I won't say most of us, like a certain number of Microphone Misfits, the original, all of us that was originally, because this family, and we look at our group as a family, is we got a big family. It's more than just the 6 Microphone Misfitz, and you know, it's our extended family is intense. So the original Microphone Misfitz, we were all from different places that like landed in Chicago. Like Pete was from Germany, shout out to Pete Proper, DRU from Long Island, New York, and me and Mel are from Flint, Michigan, and you know, and we landed here in Chicago, and you know, it kind of cultivated that. So that was kind of the initial thing, whereas we were from different places and we didn't, but Chicago was a neutral place. It was home. We love it. And so that was the basis of operations, and that's what we represent. And then, you know, as the family kept expanding, like, you know, Ray Light was, you know, Pete Proper, our first DJ and producer's roommate in college, and you know, was rocking with these b-boy crews like Awesome Style Connection, and all of the Misfit Breakers come from ASK. And you know, Mel, like, I didn't know nothing about song structure and all of that stuff. So when the opportunity first arose to like do this, like for real, Mel, I just came back from Iraq war, and I'm like, yo, Mel, I gotta do a demo, and you know, it's a calling from God wants me to do a demo. I met Tretch from Naughty by Nature, and he said I was dope, and I got to do a demo and the source and all of this. And Mel was like, "No, we're gonna do a project. We're gonna do more than the demo, because that's him." And so it's like cool, and he taught me how to count bars and all of that stuff, and it just manifested like bigger, and you know, and the family just kept expanding, and you know, to where we have multiple fractions, you know, of how we get down and we work.
Nice. Yeah, that's an amazing story. You know, when I was listening to this album, you know, the first track, Universal Soul Connection, it sounded like I could be wrong, and I'm probably wrong, but it sounded like you guys were remixing the Seinfeld bass line. It kind of sounded like I was just, and I just like, you know, instantly I heard Seinfeld in my head. You guys weren't sampling that, were you?
No, so that was all live from a group, Nadir, who is based out of Malaysia. We met them while we were on tour in China. So first hip hop group to be able to or be invited to tour in China since China banned hip hop back in 2015. But 18. We are 20. No, they banned it in 15. We went in 18. We went in 18. But Nadir was the band who were the other headliners for this festival. And so while we're out there, we kind of connected with them. And so we always said that we would do some music with them. And so while they were working on a project, they sent over the bare instrumentals for that song. And then we wrote and kind of recorded everything. And then we sent it back to them, and they put a little extra spin on it. But everything that you heard came live from that band. And so usually from what I've seen of them, like when they get together, like they find a groove and just kind of jam out and see whatever works and fit it in together that way. And for us, for that track in particular, we just built around that.
Yeah. And that bass line that you hear, that's just funk, man. I'm thinking about the bass line in my head. He was thumping that bass.
Yeah, man. Definitely. What they call it, I was like, what do y'all call this genre? Because I always call y'all Malaysian funk. Like, what do y'all call it? It's like, and they were like, we don't really have a name for it. Like the press is called up ethno fusion. I was like, ethno fusion? What the fuck is that? Like, okay. But yeah, shout out to Nadir, man. That was our,
that's super dope.
Yeah, it was our people's.
All right, props for you for liking that track.
That's actually really crazy, because the one thing that from all your albums, but particularly this latest album, is a real cohesiveness with everyone that you work with. So to get that really cool story behind that, and you know, you're continents away, but you still somehow always manage to find this cohesiveness and this chemistry. Is that something that just, I mean, I know you're in a writing session at the moment. Is that something that just comes organically to you creatively?
It's something that is done purposefully. And what we mean by that is, you know, a lot of the music that you hear now, especially in hip hop, people are looking to get a song from the hottest producer, or we want a song that sounds like this, or we want something that sounds like that. For us, we have a team that we work with. Like you say, our team is a family to us. So all of our production comes from a particular source. So like 95% of the music that you hear comes from a select group of producers. And then the writing, I mean, you're looking at the writing team in general right here. And so the reason it sounds so cohesive is because we're plotting it out as we're going. So shout out to DJ Mar, MK, who's over in Switzerland. So again, one of our producers, actually all of our producers right now, none of them are in Chicago. Like all of our music gets sent to us from elsewhere. So we've got DJ Chief down in Florida. We got MK over in Switzerland. And then we got DJ Mar, who's originally here in Chicago, but now is out in Indiana. So the reason it sounds so well is because we're working with the exact same producers. We give them, you know, the ideas of like, hey, this is what we're looking for. Hey, this is where we're at right now. And then we add that into kind of where they are with their music at the moment. And it all just kind of fits in together. But that cohesiveness was done on purpose by making sure that we cultivate the relationships with the people that we work with.
And with any add-ons, like, you know, like people like B Love out of Madison, or Harley Hustle, who's here in Chicago, or even the Deer for that matter, like, because the unit is so cohesive, like we're all no look passes, they get in and like, okay, let me add here, or let me do this, like that's different. And like, oh, okay, we never thought we would go to. And so like that kind of helps like some of the people in the extended family, and you know, really get down. And we're kind of like, I mean, I guess maybe it's cliche, but yeah, man, we just rock with good people that are, you know, talented, that we just really have love for. Like even in terms of features, like we don't rock with just anybody, you know.
Yeah, we hold a certain level of standards for ourselves professionally, you know, and musically. You know, we don't want to just put out, as he said, just put out records just for putting out records' sake. Everything has to mean something. Everybody who jumps on our record has to mean something. And also, as far as that cohesiveness goes, like us three lived together for a certain amount of years in the beginning of the Microphone, with me joining the Microphone Misfits. We were living together, writing together, doing these shows together. So like, yeah, Showtime Lakers, no look passes. It's easy out. It's easy at this point.
You know, like I was gonna ask, when you guys have your writing sessions or your recording sessions, do you guys have like any, how would I say it, any like habit or thing you have to do, you know, before you actually start writing? Like you know, it like, is there any form, like is there anything like prerequisite that you have to do before recording, like stretch, have a joint? Like, is there anything that
everybody has their individual ones? Go for yours, sir.
I gotta roll up a fat ass blunt.
Nice.
No, man, there's no method to the madness, man. Once the music hits, I kind of just zone out and get in my moments. I'll let a beat play in the background and get up and start watching TV or working out. Like I'll do random stuff. But because of that, like my method for writing is never the same. Like certain beats hit me right away and the music kind of flows. Other times I have to sit and live with it for a moment. And sometimes like I literally have to take a beat out of the house and go sit in the car with it or something like that. And there have been times where like I'll hop on the train and be like, look, I just need to get out and be around the people as I'm listening to this and kind of see where it goes. So there really is no method for me. Like when we started the session today, they started playing the track. I had no intention on getting involved. I was just here to be supportive and you know, help my brothers along the way. And then
he wrote 4 fire ass bars,
and then it just got to pop, and that's kind of it. So like, you know, I just kind of let it be what it be. Like I'm a believer in like, don't try to force it, let it come to me. And you know, when it hits, and when it doesn't, I don't push it out there.
Yeah, my it's like a puzzle for me. Like I'll have the theme and the concept and what direction we go into, bounce that off of them, and we'll talk and see if we're gonna grow with that. And then all the chains is off, because then I'm gonna be writing really scatterbrained. Like I was looking at this like, dang, I wrote this mad backwards. So I'm gonna have to be a puzzle, and you know, but I just go because I don't want to lose the idea. And I'm writing and I'm like, I know this is not the beginning of the verse. This is gonna be the end, and I'm writing this, and then it just comes, and like I just gotta get it out and just get it out. And so
his writing style is a whole special. It's a whole 45-minute special.
I'll be
his
honest
writing
though,
style.
like those are sometimes like the best ones for me. Like those records where you're like, yo, I don't know where I'm gonna start, but I know this is gonna be the ending, and then building everything around that. Like it's so much fun to do it that way. Because back in those theater days, like we did this show called the Rhymers of Eldris, where the show literally like starts at the end and then plays itself back to the beginning. And you mentioned earlier Seinfeld. Seinfeld did an episode like that once, which my high school theater director, MJ, made us all go out and watch that episode after it played for that very reason. So sometimes those are some of the most fun for me to write, just because I'm like, yo, I know this is gonna hit at the end. Now I just got to fill in everything.
right.
That's cool. That's cool. I love how you keep mentioning fun. It seems to be a common theme that underpins everything that you do. Obviously, there's the quality in the music, but fun. And just speaking to your writing style, is that the thing about Microphone Misfits music is that you can listen to it anywhere. You know what I mean? So there's, certain genres or subgenres of hip hop that suit a certain purpose. It might be those hardcore bully bars that are good for the gym, or it might be, that soul, lo-fi sort of stuff that's good for background music. One thing I've noticed through the whole discography is that Microphone's music it's for everywhere. You can play it in the crib, you can play it in the car, you can play it anywhere, and there's something that you can take from it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that, man. I mean, we're performers. Like we're performers, like,
For anybody, all age groups. What you say, Gen X, Y, Z,
and even a couple boomers. Like, like we're performers, and and half of the group proper is like dancers, so this is the musical half, and then Jet, Defects, and Solo, shout out to them, they're like movement specialists.
I dance too though.
I mean, we all dance, but yeah, we all b-boys.
Not me.
Right.
I used to, but I'm old.
This guy, like, but like we're on the musical half, and so like you have to make it like special and eventful for them. And that's another thing, just, to reference back to the comic book, like they're not background dancers, they're full members of the group. So how do you make them a part of that? Well, their likeness, their personalities, their, who they are is in the story of, in the comic book. So yeah, like that's a part and then the fun part, man, the business sucks so bad, like it's so hard, like this is the fun part. This is this creative part. This practice and the stage, and like if you're on tour, like traveling, those are the fun parts, like, because everything else about it, like, that shit sucks.
Music business is a business.
Right.
Yeah. Nah, it's funny because I have this, even though obviously I'm not an artist and I don't go on tour, but like whenever I'm always excited to record a podcast, because I do multiple, and then as soon as I'm done, I'm like, fuck, I got to edit that. I go do this, I go do that. I'm like, all this work that comes afterwards. But like, I like the moment of recording. So, I want to take it to the album, because another song that stood out to me was a song Addiction. A very personal song. What inspired that song? Was it a personal experience with one of you? Was it just an idea or a concept?
Man, that's like a theme of my life, like conquering your addictions, battling your addictions, and all of that, like my own vices and whatnot. And it was like my family. I got family members who are, therapists and shit like that. Like my dad is a recovered, junkie, and now psychotherapist. I mean, you're always a recovering addict, but he's cleaned himself up, and now this fucker's a psychotherapist. So, shout out to Chick Stockman, you know what I'm saying? But and so it's just been a theme that was on, and I just wanted to give it heavy. I remember Ray was like, yeah, I'm not fucking with that.
and sometimes things just ring too true. Like, I don't know how I would have put my voice on that song when I was actually going through something at the time.
Yeah.
Dealing with an addiction, and I was like, I don't know that I can write that. I might cry all over the track.
So, and just was writing it, and one of our producer homies at Chicago, OG Harley Hustle, was
It was perfect for that track.
Man, he was like, yo, what you I know you got something for me, man. What you got, man? And I was like, we got this, like, what you think? It's called Addiction. This is the theme. And I heard, he went to it like heavy and, like poured himself out. Like even the first 4 bars, it was kind of jarring at first. And then I was like, oh shit, he's rapping like he's drunk. Like, oh man, that's kind of a thing. And then like, I was like, man, I gotta fix mine. I gotta show some vulnerability to mine. So I think I changed like the last 4 bars or 2 bars of my verse just to, kind of like hint, because everybody knows me as like a straight Ed. And so it's like, man, D-Nick ain't addicted to nothing and he don't drink. It's a Rasta man who don't smoke. Like, what is going on? And then it's like, no, I had mine. And so, revealed that. And so, yeah, it was and we was that was a dark time. Like, we was creating that.
In the middle of 2020. It was in the middle of 2020, trying to put out a new record. We're pissed off that we didn't get to go on tour because 2020 happened. And that's why I went deeper into my vice, and it became an issue. For a lot of people, 2020 was an issue, and we went deeper into our vices. So, speaking to that on a track, it's gonna help a lot of people through their healing process.
Yeah, it's cathartic as fuck, man. Yeah.
It's good that you addressed that, because it was a really tough period in time for the world, and particularly for artists such as yourselves who do a lot of touring, who I guess do a lot of live performances, really bounce off each other. To be locked down and trapped and sort of separated from that thing that gives you that energy would be really difficult, I imagine. And I guess we're lucky that we still have the music to listen to as fans. We don't have that same creative outlet that we need to, but we can still consume that music. But in terms of creating it and not being able to go on shows, that would be a really tough time to work through.
Yeah, I mean, it was. And then for me, like, it was tough to go through, but then it was tough to get back to, because I was kind of like, when I finally get, because we're this show was meant for the road. That was the longest we have ever been off stage, and then I was feeling mad withdrawals, and I was like, and then I'm like, I don't want to be addicted to that. Like, I love performing, but I don't want to be addicted to that. I want to enjoy, like, I can't enjoy this time, like, sitting down and all of this. And it was, and so it kind of helped me personally recalibrate and like really adjust to like, okay, what does it look like now? What does the road look like now for myself and for us? And how do I, fulfill the market shit, you know what I'm saying? And like, have boundaries within myself. So like, no, it's a thing. It was a learning experience, definitely.
Yeah. It's unfortunately a very common story because of COVID, of touring, lack of touring, and the struggles that go with it. So unfortunately, yeah, it's good that I think for most places it's starting to open up again. And yeah, I know in Australia it's like fully gone. At least where I am. There's like no restrictions. So finally, it's finally looking up. So
Australia, that's where we gotta
get. That's where we're going next.
We're welcome. We'll gladly have you.
Yes, we can all do a live podcast, episode 2, part 2.
Yeah.
So another song that stood out to me is the song "The Fits Won't Stop," and the reason why it stood out to me is that intro dialogue. Can you tell me about why choose that for the intro? Tell me about it.
Oh man,
that was authentic, because we try to, we was talking about this like in the writing session, where it was like, hey man, can we rapidy rap on this, or do we gotta rap about something? It was like, no, man, it's gotta be about something, like, you know. And but so we have a posse record where we, you know, we get to flex our rapidy rap skills. And but for this one, for Fitz Don't Stop, like I wanted it to be I wanted to be only family, only Microphone Misfitz family. And so I wanted Femc Flipside to come through, and she was, you know, she had a lot of family stuff to, you know, like that she was taking care of at the time. She's a, you know, member of the
Hard-working,
super hard, yeah,
Awesome woman,
yeah.
awesome, you know, and she was taking care of her father, her grandfather, at the time, like taking care of him, so she couldn't make it to the studio, and it was like, dang, Flip, you know, I really, you know, but it's cool. And it's like, can you do an intro? She was like, I got you, I could do that. And so she did. She's raw, like she's on volume 4 and volume 3. You know, so you know, you go back, you hear Femc Flipside. Yeah, she's ferocious, and like, and that's our sister. So she did the intro, and then I heard it. I was like, dang, you did that? Like, you recorded that on the iPhone? Shit, we could did your whole verse from the crib. Like, you know, so like, damn it, you know. But no, she sent that in, and it was like, cool, bless that. So we still got her essence on that, and then we just, you know, we just flex and just like letting people know this is the family, and you know, this is how we flex.
And for the record, I did not yell at her, as she alluded to in the record. I kept it nice every time I saw her and spoke to her. So I just want to make sure I put that out there. There was no yelling that time.
Yeah, that's a fun track.
That was a lot of fun.
And you hear how I kick it off. Captain Quarantine Sleep, trying to resurrect the game. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, and I love that you've got those sorts of those family joints. I like how because what it does for me is it creates that real positivity, and it creates something that we haven't seen a lot of since, you know, early Black Eyed Peas or Jurassic 5. We haven't seen a crew such as you guys that can come and do the whole element, the whole gamut of elements. So it's really refreshing. And then, you know, you've got some really poignant tracks, and then you've got ones where you're just like, oh, let's get after it. And that's what that one was. But in a really cool way. So, you know,
who had your favorite verse? Who had your favorite?
I got the hottest verse.
Nah, son. Y'all know that was me.
Actually, Mel has my favorite verse.
Man, Mel has my favorite flow on there. He definitely has my favorite flow, like back at it again, lines of thin between the foe and the friend. Yeah, I always say that randomly, but no, man. I was flexing like shapes and shit. Like, oh no, man.
I don't care what he says right now. At the end of the day, I have everybody's favorite verse. It is what it is. It's okay. Like, I don't do it often. Like, I have everybody's favorite verse. They just don't want to admit it.
If you listen to the discography, Mel has a lot of my favorite verses on like a lot of songs.
Fucking hell. So I want to know. So if you can give us a bit of an idea. Do you guys have a set amount of Escape from Babylon series volumes you're planning on doing? Is there an end game to that, or you just keep doing it until?
He just gonna keep doing them until. No, we've been kind of changing direction.
We've
with
been
the
I've been playing,
Midwest.
Yeah, we've been
records.
we've been playing with it. Honestly, man, I have a blaxploitation mindset when it comes to writing a comic book. Like, and you know, we do this ourselves, so like this sounds crazy, but in my mind, I'm like, man, they ain't gonna let us do another book, so I got to make this one count. And like, but there's no day. Like, but in my mind, I'm just like, you know, when people ask that, and it's like, you gonna do another one, and I'm like, man, if this one is successful and the people want it, sure, you know, like, because the first Escape from Babylon, like, it was like, okay, it was 101, and then that was successful for us. So it's like, oh man, we got to do this again. And then it just kind of became a motif that I really like doing and really enjoy doing, and it's something that's become a standard and what people come to expect with albums. And then, you know, like the younger generation of artists, like with their like doing EPs, and in the streaming world, it's just like, oh man, like when we did the Midwest Anime EP, it was like we did like 4 songs plus a bonus record. It felt like I was like, wow, this is so easy to just do records and not have to do a book. We can just do, you mean people can just do records and that's it? That's crazy.
We ain't did that in 10 years.
Right. This is a whole decade we ain't did that. And so that was, so we, you know, we're kind of playing with that. And that gives us like time to like, you know, relax, recalibrate, so we don't have to rush out for another Escape from Babylon, or if, you know, if we, or maybe want to take a comic to another direction, you know.
Oh, isn't the story over already, D-Nick?
Man, it ain't over till it's over.
Does it ever end?
Right.
I mean, does it ever really end?
This ain't Dragon Ball Z, bro.
I feel like
this ain't Naruto, man.
I feel like I got another tail in me.
Oh my god.
I do. I feel like I got another tail in me. So, you know,
all right.
I'm a completionist. So
I'm here, man.
You're supposed to encourage these things, right? You're the hype man. You're supposed to hype everything.
I'm here.
I love it. I love the chemistry between you guys. Obviously, I love the brotherhood that you have. Obviously, you know, so and so's got my favorite verse. So and so's got this. But it also seems like within a well-natured way, you keep holding each other accountable too. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're adults with families.
At the end of the day, like no one's gonna cuss you out and hold you more accountable than us. Like if you do something stupid, like these are gonna be the first ones to call you out on it. And because they're willing to call you out on it, it allows you to be able to call yourself out a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So because we've been there holding each other accountable for so long, there's certain things that we do that you innately know, like this is what he would have said, or they're going to get on me about this one. Like, so it helps you to kind of keep it going, because there were many a times where, you know, something would happen. It was like, yo, you know you messed up on this. Like, you know, you're wrong. Like as brothers, like I'm going to ride for my family 100% the whole way. But as soon as we're done, I'm going to pull you to the side and I'm going to tell you, you know, you fucked up. Like you fucked up, you did X, Y, and Z. You need to do X, Y, and Z. Same thing with like ideas and some of the different projects that we do independently. It's like, yo, you want to do this? Well, that's fine. But remember, like, don't forget about this. Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do this without this. Don't do this and then not expect this. Like, because sometimes, like, we've been through these things for so long, like, especially like with D and I, like, we've been doing this thing since we were teenagers. And so there's certain things that will happen. And be like, yo, you know, when you do this, did you think about this? Did you consider this? Like, we always want to make sure that we give each other the best advice possible, so that, you know, when it comes up, like, we don't get blindsided by no BS.
Yeah, that's cool, because you see so many, not necessarily groups, but, you know, people that are surrounded by yes men, which, you know, dilutes the product, or there's, you know, distinct lack of chemistry or lack of direction. And it's one thing, you know, and you guys have got a really big discography. And it's one thing that we always notice when you listen to it, is that there is that standard. There is a standard, like, you take your time with things. And I think that that's very much an artistic thing. And you guys all being artists, not just MCs or whatever. It is something, and just talking to you, you can feel that energy between you guys. And I think it's a really good thing to point out.
I mean, when it comes to the music or the creative side of it, there is a quality control that we run through. So every time we record a record, we send it off to the family with internally. And like, if it doesn't get a certain grade from the family in general, it tends to fall to the wayside. It gets buried a little bit further, or we might have to go back to the drawing board on this one. Yeah. Sometimes, like, because we've been working together for so long, we get to that point before we even get to the recording process of it. But, you know, it's definitely a thing of, you know, not just the three of us here, but, you know, the other 3 members of the Microphone Misfitz, our extended family. Like, they will get sent those records, and if they're not feeling it, if it doesn't set a certain quality, it won't make it on the album.
Yeah, because they essentially got to dance to this shit every night, and you know, we perform, and you know, that you could make a case that they're A&Rs for the group. Like if this was a record label structure as a group, they would be A&Rs because they, I did a feature with some guys and, shout out to Watch City and like sent it to everybody and they were like, yo, that shit was fucking dope. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, like I didn't, yeah. So it's like, yeah, definitely.
And even with us, like, yo, because when I first heard it, like I gave the positive affirmation, but you could tell like I wasn't 100% with it. Like I had to sit with it for a minute. Once I sat with it, I was like, I get it. I'm good. But again, like I'm not gonna sit back and tell you like, oh, this is the greatest thing in the world if I don't feel that way.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Again, holding each other accountable. So there's definitely like certain records that we have in our catalog now that that was not a huge fan of, but eventually grew on me for whatever reason. Like, but they've heard it. Like records that I didn't like, records that I don't like, they know about it, and like vice versa. Like we make sure that like we hold it out there because if you can't hear it from family, like you're gonna hate it when you hear it from others.
Yeah.
Poor Hemplo, Fitz Don't Stop. One of the brothers on the track, he came with 2 separate verses. Just in case. and the first verse he spit, I wasn't even in the room for it, but I came back in the room and the energy was like, eh. And then the second verse he spit was like, "Bam!" And everybody was like,
"No!" At that point, like, "Yo, you should have came with that one first." The first verse was very humble and like, "I'm just happy to be on the record with y'all." And I was like, "No, that's not what we brought you here for. Give me the second one,
and
then that's what it is." But yeah, like, I'm not gonna sit in the room with you and tell you I like something if it's shit. Like,
and his verse is probably one of the second favorite verses on that track because
there you go.
Everybody came with it on that joint.
Yeah, man.
Nice. All right. So a question that I wanted to ask you boys since we've been setting up this interview because it's been a while in the making. What do you guys have a favorite comic? Character, DC, Marvel, or certain?
Oh, okay. Oh, from that.
I do. My favorite comic was the indie comic called Brother Man. Which was done originally by the Sims brothers. One of the main artists for that is going on to change his name, but it was a comic that I bought as a teenager. I was 13 years old when I met the Sims brothers, and they were pushing it themselves hand to hand, sort of like what we do with these cons now. I was 13 years old when I bought the entire series as it was. And I use that because the reason I love comic books so much is because I love to draw. And so like that way I taught myself how to draw a lot of times was looking at comic book photos and then just drawing them freehand on another paper. And so I learned my techniques from that. And that was one of the books that I spent, that series, I spent years just kind of going through, just drawing and redrawing and whatnot. And so that to me is still my favorite series. Outside of that, Marvel, I think has the edge for me as far as like the mainstream joints go. But the Sims brothers and Brother Man was definitely my personal favorite.
I'm gonna give it to Dark Horse. I really like Hellboy, like mainstream comic, just because I like pulp detective stories and like, and it was just kind of like it's crazy because he's like, in that world, he's like, okay, I'm an investigator for the paranormal, and and I'm just doing this job, and everybody's like, okay, this is a demon, but he cool, like, and he's doing the job fighting other demons, and then at early on in the series, he was like, you know what? This job is bullshit. I quit. and he literally quit and is just walking the earth, and he's the best paranormal research and defense dude that was working for the government. He was like, man, I don't know. I'm not feeling this no more. I quit. And he just quit. And it's like, well, what else is a devil gonna do but hunt devils or be a devil? And it's like, man, I'm chilling. And I'm just gonna just walk the earth and probably right or wrong here and there, but I'm chilling, like, and trying to figure something out. And like, that was just always, I was like, dang, that is a wild, like, story. And it's just so engaging and relaxing. And he's just like he's physically like in his 30s, but he's really in his 60s because he ages them. So when you've seen that much life, you just be like, whatever. He just smoke a cigarette, drink his beer, and be like, man, whatever, man. Like, don't do that. Don't fuck with this person. Don't do that. Like, and it's like I like Hellboy, and you know I lean. I like Marvel too, and I like DC too. But I would always say with that, I'm like I'm a Marvel dude that cheats with DC.
Yeah,
I'm kind of the same in that regard. One of my favorite, and I wasn't really big on comic books growing up, but one of my favorite Marvel cartoons to watch was X-Men. And so I was always fascinated by, boom, this group of people that all had superpowers and went to this school to hone their superpowers. And that kind of relates to later in life. I'm a licensed massage therapist. I went to school to learn body techniques and kind of hone my superpowers on helping people through their healing process.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to school through that continuously. And sometimes me and my classmates call it the School of Hogwarts because we're learning some really dope magic.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marvel would definitely be X-Men. And then, you know, I watched Spider-Man and Batman, my little Saturday morning cartoons. But low-key, Animaniacs was always my favorite cartoon.
Pretty dope, man.
So you're the male Sakura.
Yeah.
Yeah. Healing jutsu. You know, it's funny because in the Hellboy, you remember the first movie, the first that came out. You know the scene towards the end, when that creature's almost coming through to Earth from space.
Yeah.
That has given me nightmares. Even now, like I get nightmares of imagining that thing coming to our Earth, whatever that was, this octopus. Oh, fuck, like that's stupid.
Yeah, that one was dope.
That's wild. My daughter decided at like 8 years old that Hellboy was like her favorite character. I'm like, wow, why?
Fucking hell.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm gonna take it back to a hip hop point just for one more minute.
Yeah.
Are there anyone outside of the family that you would love to work with or tour with that you haven't had the opportunity to potentially work with? I know you've got yourselves and you've got the extended family and a few people here and there. But are there anyone that you feel sort of fits what you do, fits your vibe that you would love to work with?
Yeah. I mean, we've traveled. We've done shows with him.
I would hit the road with Alfred, like kick it, like really tear down sets with him.
Alfred, yeah.
Alfred Banks, was he from Baton Rouge?
He's from New
Orleans. But he's a dope indie artist. He's touring all over America all the time. This guy.
I'm biased. I would want him and P Black.
I would say, yeah, you gotta get both.
I feel like I can't separate, like, because we met them together, like Marcel P Black and
Alfred. Ill show.
Us, Marcel P. We would have. Marcel ain't going after us. We'd have to. He refuses.
He refuses to go after.
Yeah, he says he doesn't go after live musicians, and he's like, y'all in that same category.
Oh my goodness.
But my Marcel P. Black is cold.
Yeah,
like that.
That was gonna be the one that I would mention. Like those two would definitely be a hell of a show.
And Alfred Banks is different, man. Like that dude.
You can't really tell that he's a Southern rapper. Like you can tell he's from New Orleans, but like he's got such like a New York type of swag to him when he's like on stage tearing it down.
I don't know. He's Nolans to me. Yeah, like I disagree, man. But Banks is like he different, man. I think he probably just because of the more
he's flashy.
The more
I think it's the sneaker game.
Yeah, that's probably what you use.
I think it's the sneaker game. He loves the sneakers.
Them cats. I would like to do something with IQ.
Thanks for that thought. We're gonna put that on the board.
Yeah, we'll speak that in existence. I like to do something with IQ though. IQ is dope, man. We got to rock with him out in Austin, Texas. We were on the Nerdcore Days Festival. You know, shout out to everybody that was on that.
That was a fun time.
But IQ is raw. Yeah, man. Like,
Prowess. She's dope.
She's a terror on that mic.
And we was just in Detroit with Mark Cooper. He's dope. So yeah, man. There's a lot of really dope indie artists that can actually hold it down with us, man. When we first came out here, it wasn't a lot of cats like who were okay to follow us. You know, that's how we met Watch City doing a tour
and it was in Austin.
Southwest.
Yeah.
You know, and they came behind us and they tore it down.
Yeah,
just like how we tear it down. We was like, oh shit, okay.
It was similar to the Deer. It was them after us or us, like, you know, or us after them. Like it was always like SP he was the promoter. He would always change up the lineup, you know, between us, but it was always rotating because, you know, between us and them, and that's how a lot of the people we rock with, you know, we see them on the road and we just develop a kinship with them, like, you know, it's just you know, that's always because the energy's got to be right. Like it's cool to do something with someone who's dope. I guess if there was I enjoyed rocking with Schoolie D. You know, like so
Schoolie D is a good time.
Yeah, like you know, ECL is dope. ECL is super dope, and
that was a hell of a show too.
Yeah, man. Like so, and Schoolie is my homie. He'll randomly hit me up every so often out of nowhere, and homie home, Schoolie. Like he's a good brother, man. He got shout out to Schoolie and our partner and business partner, Big Hurt. Schoolie just dropped a single and a video with Ice-T and Chuck D. You know, video animated by Big Hurt. You know, so salute to them. So, you know, but they're part of our pantheon. So like, yeah, I definitely would like to do something with Schoolie School too.
Look, I think, you know, this, you know, being able to talk to you guys, hearing your energy, hearing your, you know, your love for music, your creativity, just the brotherhood that you guys have. It's really refreshing. You know, it's refreshing to hear. It's comforting to know that there are people like you who are making music the way you are and who actually have the passion for it the way you guys do. So thank you for all your contributing to the music scene. And yeah, it's been a great interview having you guys.
Oh no.
Yeah, thank you again. And I'll
man,
make sure.
Thank you, man.
No, thank you. I'm so glad we were able to finally get it sorted because last time I think Brutus was sick. last time.
Yeah.
And then finally it all aligned perfectly. So I'm very happy.
Definitely. For sure.
I'll get this uploaded ASAP. I'll send you guys the link and then go from there.
Man, we appreciate that, man. Thank you.
No, well, enjoy your morning or night, guys, whatever time it is for you.
Afternoon.
Well, happy afternoon. We'll enjoy our mornings. Talk to you guys later.
All right, man. Bless.
Thanks.